Hello, I'm Antonio Fernando Pinheiro Pedro, and today we will discuss the evolution of forest and agrarian policies and the lessons from Brazil and its new forest code. We will make an important connection to the environmental policies that will be debated during COP30, which will take place this year in Belém do Pará, here in Brazil. The legacy of the new forest code and the challenge of COP30. The discussion about the 2012 new forest code and its historical lessons takes on a special meaning with the upcoming COP30 in Belém do Pará. Brazil, a country that has historically debated land ownership and forest conservation, arrives at this global event with an opportunity to present a model of territorial governance that seeks to reconcile the growth of agribusiness with environmental protection. This journey, marked by an unequal land system since the colonial sesmarias, by forest codes that failed to harmonize production and nature, and by ideological conflicts, has culminated in legislation that attempts to balance these interests. The Rural Environmental Registry, CAR, a geo-referencing tool created by the law, represents the country's effort to ensure the legal certainty and traceability of its agricultural production. In the heart of the Amazon, COP30 will be the ideal stage for Brazil to demonstrate how technology can be used to pacify conflicts in the countryside, and how the experience of reconciling divergent interests can be a valuable lesson for the world. The challenge now is to go beyond the legislation itself and show its effective implementation to the world, transforming the Amazon from a symbol of destruction into an example of sustainable development. The complex journey of land and forest policies in Brazil. Brazil, with its predominantly urban population, carries a deep rural heritage and a history of profound inequality in land distribution. This land asymmetry not only affects income concentration, urban life, and power relations, but also generates constant conflicts between agricultural production and environmental preservation. The article by Felipe de Paula and Maria de Carvalho discusses how forest and agrarian legislation since the colonial period has been shaped by these paradoxes, creating a legal uncertainty that harms both the productive sector and state governance. The root of the problem dates back to the sesmarias system, a model of public land grants that in Brazil was distorted into a regime of unproductive and hard-to-control latifundios, large estates. Possession became the main form of land acquisition, culminating in a period of land grabbing, grilagem, and the perpetuation of a feudal mentality, even after independence. The 1850 land law attempted to modernize the system, instituting private property and sale as the sole forms of acquisition, but at the same time, it segregated the native population and former slaves, who were left without access to land. Slavery, by denying family and property to black people, exacerbated this inequality, resulting in possession conflicts and the formation of quilombos and later urban favelas. The clash between production and protection. The emergence of forest legislation in the 20th century brought new challenges. The first 1934 Forest Code, with its interventionist nature and foreign-inspired models, imposed restrictions on private property without proper compensation, becoming obsolete without ever being fully implemented. The 1965 Code tried to correct the flaws of the previous one by creating the concepts of Permanent Preservation Area, APP, and Legal Reserve, RL. However, these institutes were introduced in a developmental and productive context, and their application was inconsistent, failing to reconcile agricultural expansion with conservation. The silviculture policy of that period, disastrously managed, led to the depletion of important forest species. Legislative changes in the following decades, especially the 2001 provisional measure, disfigured the 1965 Code, introducing a biocentrist bias that viewed agricultural production as alternative land use. This approach, lacking a solid technical or legal basis, generated immense legal uncertainty and bureaucracy, transforming legal reserve fragments into small and ineffective forest indulgences without real ecological function. The lesson of the new Forest Code and the path ahead. The answer to this stalemate came with the 2012 new Forest Code, Law 12,651. The result of a broad and democratic debate in the National Congress. The law seeks to harmonize agrarian and forest policies, overcoming past inconsistencies. The main breakthrough is the creation of the Rural Environmental Registry, CAR, a georeferencing tool that offers legal certainty and streamlines the environmental regularization of rural properties. By integrating cadastral and spatial data, the CAR allows for the pacification of possession conflicts and the precise definition of protected areas. The law also introduces the concept of Environmental Reserve Quotas, a market mechanism that allows for the compensation of environmental liabilities and encourages the protection of surplus vegetation. This approach recognizes the interdependence between land productivity and the conservation of forest heritage. Moving away from the ideological dogmatism that so harmed previous policies. In short, the history of forest and agrarian policies in Brazil is a journey of trial and error, marked by conflicts between a colonial mindset and the need for modernization. The new Forest Code represents a crucial milestone in this evolution. By using technology and a Republican legislative process, it offers a path to overcome legal uncertainty and harmonize agricultural production with environmental protection, ensuring that the resilience of the Brazilian people, manifested in the countryside, can flourish in an environment of legality and security. Thank you for watching this video and for following us here on the channel. Be sure to share your opinion in the comments. Like and share with your friends and colleagues, as this helps us transmit knowledge to everyone who is willing to learn. See you in the next video.